I did the K1 visa stuff. My
Right.
fiancée is here. She's been in the country 2 weeks. I didn't expect things to go so fast. It kind of went pretty quick. However, my question is, I am scheduled in 4 days to go on a cruise. I'd like my fiancée to go with me. We're already married, but
She
I am
can't.
told
She
she
can't.
can't leave the
She
country.
can't. You have to file an adjustment, get her green card in advance for all. You're either going on the cruise alone or you're canceling your cruise.
Oh,
Just life.
how long does that take?
You file an adjustment, the green card should take 3 months. But you're not going to be able to go to the cruise on 4 days from now.
All right, I appreciate
Because
it.
if
Thank
she
you so much.
leaves, if she leaves the United States, she won't be allowed back. You're not going to get her back for years. Don't do it.
I'm just trying to figure out what would be the quickest visa to get, the fiancé or the tourist visa?
The quickest visa to get?
Yeah.
You want to marry somebody?
Well, it's my fiancé. I'm pregnant, and he wants to be here for when the baby's born.
Well, the fiancé visa, he won't get here for when the baby's born. I don't know what country he's in. I don't know if he's even eligible for a tourist visa. Certainly, they're not going to give him a tourist visa to come for the birth of his child. I can almost assure you that. They're going to think he's coming to marry you. So if he can show employment, he shows ties to his home country, he's coming here to visit, it's possible he can get a tourist visa. That would certainly be faster than a fiancé visa.
If a K1 visa comes to the U.S., gets married, and later divorces before receiving the unconditional, are they going to be deported or can they remarry and stay?
They can complete the case under Matter of Sesay as long as your wife gave you an affidavit of support. Because when you come on a K1, the act of getting married entitles you to a green card, provided your wife gives you, or your husband, whoever's sponsoring you, gives you an I-864 affidavit of support. So you need, on a K1, you need two things. A valid marriage, obviously prove it's bona fide, and an I-864 by your spouse. So after she files the adjustment or he files the adjustment and the marriage breaks up and you get divorced, you can still complete that adjustment or file a new adjustment under Matter of Sesay. You cannot do a new marriage on a K1 visa and get your green card in the United States of America. It has to be based on that first marriage.
Who is qualified for the Matter of Sesay? What are the requirements?
Matter of Sesay is people who came on a fiancé visa. They got married. The spouse provided an affidavit of support but did not complete the immigration case. The fact of getting married and having an affidavit of support by the spouse is enough as long as you can prove it was a bona fide marriage, even if you got divorced. It is a special way to get a green card for people who came on K1 fiancé visas who ultimately didn't really have a successful marriage and the marriage broke up.
It was a situation where my father had a case back in 1992, and he was deported back in 2013. Now, the case was this. It was a child abuse case where the girl got into a fight on the bus, and my father sent her right back to school. She basically told her administrators that my father had done this. He was then placed on probation, and in 2013, the attorney helped us in the process of trying to get my father back by filing a fiancé visa with my father's fiancé.
No.
And
you can only come.
that,
You can't. Fiancé visa is a temporary visa. You need to file an immigrant visa. So the fiancé needs to go down to wherever your father is, marry him, file a visa petition for him, and then file two waivers. One waiver for being deported, which is the 212 waiver, and one waiver for the underlying crime, which is the 601. But there is certainly a pathway for him to come through, but not as the fiancé, but with as a green card holder.
I have a question about hardship. See, on the directions, it says to request a waiver, but on the actual form, it just asks for an explanation. I don't know protocol. I don't know the steps. Do I have to
pay the filing fee? Because ultimately,
okay, so just
pay the filing. There's no hardship. File the I-129F, pay the filing fee. When you get the receipt notice for the I-129F, which is the fiancé visa, if you want to try to expedite it, at that point you could write them with whatever humanitarian reasons that you can come up with to try to expedite the case. But I suggest you pay the filing fee, and the reason is because you have to show that you can support your spouse 125% above the poverty level. And if you say to the government, I can't pay the filing fee, that means you
no, it's not about the filing fee.
What about what?
Hardship as to meeting in person.
Oh, you've never met this person?
Yes.
Okay. If the only reason that works for not meeting a person live together would be for religious reasons. So unless you have a religious reason why you haven't met, you better meet or the case will be denied.
So it wouldn't be...
I guess if you're physically unable to get on an airplane, maybe. You know, I've never seen that before, but if you can't physically get on a plane, but there's lots of people with disabilities who can get on a plane.
I have a particularly...
Okay, so this is how I would handle it then. Document it with all your medical records and a letter from your doctor explaining why you can't get on an airplane to go meet this person. And hopefully they accept it. And if they do, great. And if they don't, you'll be denied. And I would say more likely than not, they would deny that. But maybe you have an exceptionally strong case for a disability of not getting on a plane. But if they deny it, then you know what the remedy is. Get on a plane and meet the person.
I applied for a K-1 visa for my fiance in Jamaica 2020. It was approved in the U.S. and sent to Jamaican immigration on 11/21. We've not heard anything since then. How long does the process take?
Jamaica's backed up over a year.
I married a U.S. citizen under K-1 visa. Already applied for a change of status. Biometric done 12/9/21. Ran away from my husband because of domestic violence. Can I get a working visa, and up to how long is the wait?
You can file a VAWA case, absolutely.
Which one would actually be the best option for the fiancé visa or the I-130? If you're planning to get married.
The fastest route would be fiancé visa. And that's what I'm suggesting to everybody these days.
How long would it take us to actually get a work permit?
Where are you now?
Jamaica.
Okay, so you would get a fiancé visa. You would come to the United States. You would get married and file an adjustment, and you'd get your work permit 6 months later. A fiancé visa could take a year or so. Or your husband or future husband can fly to Jamaica, marry you, come back, file an I-130. That could be 2 years. But you come up with a green card. Don't worry about how fast can I get my work permit. How fast can you be reunited with your spouse? Don't you want to have a life with him?
That's true, but then you don't want to be able not to be able to work.
Well, it's going to be a few months. So then the question's not what's the fastest, what's the best for you. Then let him go marry you, and you'll wait 2 years, and you'll come up with your green card. And when you come up with your green card, you'll work.
My fiance is currently in Haiti, and I'm trying to see which process would be easier and faster for him to get here. I'm trying to see if the K-1 visa would be better, or if I just go over there physically and marry him. I'm already a U.S. citizen. I was born in America.
The fastest way to get him here is the K-1 visa.
I've talked to a lawyer, and she said that if I was to go over there and get married to him, it would be faster.
No, it's not.
But it's just like
I'm
trying to see which one is faster. And okay,
it's just fact of life. Just by pure logic, a fiancé visa is faster because you can do it right now this evening and file it. Okay, you can't go get married in Haiti this evening. So just by pure logic, it's faster to do a fiancé visa. And actually, the processing time is faster also.
Gotcha. But they were saying that if I do the K-1 visa, it'll take maybe 9 months up to a year for him to receive the green card so he can start working. So I'm trying to...
No. What'll happen is once he comes here, you can marry him that next week. You could file an adjustment application. And, it'll take 90 to 180 days to get a work permit, but another year for a green card. But he'll have all the travel benefits back and forth. If you're asking me, what is the fastest way to have a green card in your hand? Yes, go marry him and come back and file for him. If you're asking me, which I believed you were, what is the fastest way to get the man who I love to live with me here in America? It's the fiancé visa. Once he's here, you can marry him the next day, the next week, put in the papers that same day, and he's off to the races getting his work permit and his green card.
How long does that take for him to get here?
Oh, it could take 9 months to a year, but if you marry him and from Haiti, it's going to take over 18 months. Thanks for watching. For more Brad Show Live, like and subscribe to our YouTube channel.